Chiefs at Chargers. Marco, right before we went on air, we found out when we were looking at the wires real quick, is that the quarterback for KC had his appendix out. No one knew it. This is Wednesday, we're taping afternoon. And right now, he's 50-50 for the game. So what I want to do is I want to talk for a few minutes about how you handicap uncertainty like this. Then for a minute or two, how you handicap a backup quarterback. And in this case, it's Brody Croyle.
Yeah.
0 for 9 in the NFL, no snaps this season. How do you handicap that? And then we'll do a quick handicap assuming that he plays. All right, so we've talked about this a few times this year. Right now the line's down. They're going to get a feel for it. But most likely what they're going to do is say if he's 50-50, the line was 7, 7.5.
Right, it was 7.
7 with the quarterback. In my estimate, we talked beforehand, he's worth about 6 points. So if he doesn't play for sure, the line would be 13, I think. If it's 50-50, they're going to cut it down the middle. They're going to add 3 points to 7, make it 10, and in a way you're betting, do you think he's going to play or not? Because they'll keep it down for a half a day or something, but if they don't know till Sunday, I doubt they keep this game down that whole time. So really, that's something, if you just simply want to handicap if he's going to play or not, then if you think he is, you take the 10, and if you think he's not, you lay the 10, because you're going to get 3 points either way. That's a mathematical concept, but an important one, because it applies to other things, like things they won't take a line down from. Will the tight end play? Maybe he's worth 1.5. They're going to make an assumption and make the line in the middle. If you feel strongly he's going to play, or maybe his backup's better than people think, you can have value in arbitraging these injuries. Go ahead.
In this instance, you've got 2 problems. One, and I've always talked about the injured player theory, and I generally love that concept.
Which is the second point I want to make, but go ahead.
Okay. In this
I want you to make.
Okay. In this instance, you can't do that because, Brody Croyle is so bad. He doesn't have any history.
So what's your typical way that you handle?
Well, you look at like a team, and I'll bring up our team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They always had Charlie Batch sitting there as the backup for all those years. Well, Charlie Batch is a former starter. He was never a great starter, but he was above
serviceable.
Average. Right. So it was like having that utility infielder that you could plug in, and then the rest of the team steps up. We don't have that with Brody Croyle. So
and you also probably have a little bit of a, oh my God, this is such a key game. And Matt Castle has thrown 23 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions this year.
He's having an absolutely amazing season. I didn't think he was that kind of quarterback when he had the fluke year at New England when Brady got hurt and got the big contract after that.
Our producer Dustin told us that he goes, "You hear about Josh McDaniels?" So. But let's talk about Josh a second. It's 2 days late, but this guy seems to me, the fact he wanted Matt Castle seems to show that he was pretty sharp. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll take Castle over, the Bears quarterback right now, right?
Oh, for sure.
Right. So it seems like he was smart to want Castle. And remember, they ended up getting, 2 first-round picks? Mm-hmm. And then Castle got traded for a second-round pick. So you're getting a better quarterback with a much better trade. It also seems like that I'm having a mental, Edwards, the receiver, no, who's the receiver that left Denver? Did he go to Miami or Jets?
Marshall, Brandon.
Marshall. He's not doing very much, is he?
No, he's not.
So in a way,
doesn't have a good quarterback in Miami either, though.
I mean, coming in the year, Henne was like one of the next up and comers. So to me, now clearly you can look at the Peyton Ellis trade and be like, to me that's the thing that sticks out. But you got to wonder did they bail on McDaniels so early? Is really his decisions blowing that team up seem good in hindsight, other than Peyton Ellis?
I think that it was such a severe change in that climate with all of the personnel changes, but also if you remember, he started his career 6-0, and his team has been horrible ever since that.
But the fact is that when you blow a team up, it's usually horrible. Jimmy Johnson was 1-15 his first year, right? So I mean, if you believe in the plan, you give him a couple years. But that's a little side conversation. So we're going to go and handicap this game as if he's playing, Castle. But what you're saying is the typical Marco, I'm going to play on the team that's going to rally around the backup, does not apply here.
Doesn't apply here because there is so much question whether or not Castle will play. Then the second part of the handicap is if Castle plays, are they going to alter the game plan? Because this is not an injury. This was a surgery that wasn't
So
planned.
he's not going to be 100% no matter what.
He's not going to be 100%. Are they going to protect him and run the ball more, and limit
so
the
this line goes up, even if he's announced playing, this line goes over 7.
It probably does. And coming into today, I actually had this as one of my better podcast plays. It wasn't my best bet, but it was one of my better plays. I like this game to go over. This is a big game for San Diego.
So give me 2 minutes on the handicap here, assuming Castle plays.
Well, life or death, this game is San Diego. The season's over for the Chargers if they lose this game.
How many times have I heard that the last couple of years?
Well, we're in December. They did something they haven't done since Norv Turner's been there last week. That was lose a December game at home. They had not lost at home in December since 2005.
Impressive.
They did it in fashion against the Raiders that once again, 2 things stuck out in that game. The Raiders ran the ball all over San Diego last week, and we came in. The Chargers had decent yardage statistics defensively this year.
More than decent.
That was very uncharacteristic.
Which brings up one of my points, and I'm going to make it in the Philly-Dallas game too, is to me, there's talent, matchups, motivation, and details. How good's a team? How do the teams match up? How motivated are they? And then the little intangibles, the details. To me, handicappers always underestimate the intangibles. And to me, forgetting everything else, I like KC because I think they're one of the best intangible teams. I think San Diego is one of the worst. And usually with the bad intangible teams, you always think, well, this is the week they're really going to put it together. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they do. And I faded the Chargers against the Colts. And now everyone that took the Chargers, it ended up being like pick. At home, and feels really smart. But this is the same team that the intangibles allowed them to get blown out at home. I just can't bet the Chargers no matter what.
Well, I don't trust them as a favorite either, and it's why I was looking at the over. And the one thing that I'm looking at in this game, now KC had a low-scoring game last week, and they have won 3 games in a row, but I want to point out that their 3-game winning streak has come against Arizona, Seattle, and Denver. Those are not good ball clubs.
Yeah, but KC's leading the division. I mean, it seems 8-4.
They're leading the division, a division that is underachieved all year.
It doesn't matter. They're 8-4. And if anything, if you look at this division and look at Oakland and San Diego, I mean, it's hard to say this is like Denver not great, but this isn't like some horrible division either. Let me make a quick point about backing up KC's intangibles. 6 of 7 as a dog, which is a team as a dog, you think intangible teams are going to keep it close. And San Diego had over 200 yards in the matchup, that week 1 matchup with these two teams, 200 more yards and still lost the game. Another sign of a lack of intangibles.
Which that first game was a low-scoring game, and if you remember, that first Monday, it was played in a monsoon. It rained in most of that game.
So last question, if Castle plays, do you still like the over, or him being less than 100% takes you off it?
I still like the over, but I don't like it as strong because I think they will try to feature the run more to protect him to not take the hits in the passing game because of the surgery.
Unconventional, but good stuff. Now it's your turn to continue the conversation in the comment section with Marco and me. And next up, we're going to be talking the Eagles at the Cowboys Sunday Night Football.
Marco's best bet.
Marco's best bet. I buried the lead. All right, we'll be back.